What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Yankee Football Podcast, Episode 8. Y'all can tell by the title, we're talking about one thing and one thing only this episode, and that is AFCON 2021. Even though it's happening in 2022, was
COVID.
Very confusing to me. There's a lot to talk about with this tournament. Before we get into our individual predictions, not just for the group, but we're going to be talking about our favorites to win, the dark horse, who we think is going to flop. But before we talk about that, I think it's important that we touch on the tournament in general, because it's been getting a lot of attention recently, and there's a lot of controversy around the tournament. And we talked about this a little bit in the last episode that we did, that there are certain managers that are really upset that they have to basically send off their players for 6 weeks in the middle of the season. And we also have journalists and fans who either think that the tournament should be canceled because the timing is so terrible, or they're basically just begging their players to not leave and to not honor their national team call-up. So this has sparked a lot of comments. I know Patrick Pierre came out and said something and said that the treatment that the tournament is getting is beyond disrespectful, and I think he said it was like tinted with racism. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he said sprinkled with racism or had racist undertones or something like that. And we spoke about this recently. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts about the AFCON coverage and see like why do you think the coverage of the tournament is how it is? Is that because of racism? Is it because of ignorance towards African football? Disrespect towards African football? Like, why do you think that's we're seeing what we're seeing?
I think it's a combination of a couple of things. I have a feeling it's not leaning towards any form of racism. I mean, one can make the argument that maybe, there's some historical racist undertones there where, no one else in Europe cares about CONCACAF. No one else in Europe cares about AFCON. No one else in Europe cares about anything that happens in Asia regarding football. So it's only UEFA. It's only the top 5 leagues, and those are the only leagues that do real football that people care about.
Dude, I'm honestly shocked that you came out the gate with something so accurate as that, because that was the main point that I had written down. I think it's hilarious that everybody is saying that only AFCON is disrespected, or AFCON is the most disrespected tournament in the world, when literally every time there's a South American anything, World Cup qualifier, friendly, CONCACAF game, doesn't matter what it is, the same complaining happens. I think the point maybe with AFCON is that we're talking about the better teams having to play for 6 weeks, as opposed to like losing your best South American players for, a week or something for some World Cup qualifiers. But let's not pretend like any tournament except the Euros is respected, if you want to use that word, in Europe. No, they don't care about any of the other continents, whether it's Asia or, like you said, they just want their guys to play for Liverpool and then go play for England. They don't give a shit about AFCON. And I don't think it's because of, the fact that it's an African tournament. It's just the fact that it's not European club football. That's really what the problem is. I would wonder if the situation was reversed and the best leagues in the world happened in Argentina and Brazil and Peru. I wonder how much the Peruvians would care about the Euros. That's not really a conversation that is ever had. We never really hear the flip side, like, how do these other countries feel about Europe? Nobody says that because we speak English, and so we only hear English media and English media bias. Yeah. So that's like a whole separate issue. But something tells me in a parallel universe that they don't really care, just like Europeans don't really care. Is it racism? Is it ignorance? I think when you start saying racism, you got to come with a receipt. You got to come with some facts. before you're going to put an accusation and a label like that so strong.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I agree. And I mean, that's why I said, you could maybe make a very lukewarm argument on that, but I think it's simply no one gives a fuck in Europe if it doesn't involve Europeans.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just as simple as that. It's just
and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole too much, but do you think they should care? Should Europeans care about AFCON?
I think they should care not from a which country is going to win AFCON, but I think they should care enough to support their club's players that are going over to play in AFCON. At least have the respect to do that, because if you go and you troll on Twitter and stuff like that, you see a bunch of people be like, how can Mo do this to us? Like, he's having one of his best seasons ever in the Prem. And
like he's stabbing them in the heart.
How dare he go play for Egypt when I mean, like, the dude, like, obviously wants to win, I think the 8th title with Egypt this year,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I mean, it's the same argument that people have with Ronaldo and Messi. These guys want to win. A lot of these guys have won a bunch of shit with their clubs. It's really different when you win stuff with your national team. I mean,
totally.
when you rep your nation and you got your nation on your sleeve or your nation's badge on your chest, I mean, it's different, and I don't think anyone truly understands that until they do that. And I'm not saying that I understand it completely, but, like, it's got to be a different feeling.
Well, you can recognize it even though you haven't experienced it yourself, that obviously you can see the passion in the players whenever they put on, their South Korea jersey. You can see how hard and how much they want to win. You know what I mean? And this is also, it kind of comes down to, for me, are you a club guy or are you a country guy? Do you like club football or international football? I prefer international football. I'll probably always will. But I know people that can't stand international football. Maybe because they're not very, I don't know, patriotic. Maybe they don't really care about, maybe they're like multi-ethnic, so they don't really have one country that they really cheer for because their house itself is divided. Or maybe they just think club football is prettier, which I hear from a lot of people. They just say international football is boring, but I completely disagree. And I think that's another part of this that's being completely disregarded and cloaked as racism, which I just think is such a cop-out every single time. And I think some people are taking this AFCON tournament as an opportunity to kind of get some social justice warrior brownie points. Like, look at me. I'm so not racist that I want Guinea to win. It's like, okay, bro, chill the fuck out. You don't know anybody on Guinea. Shut up. Nobody cares about, like, how much you support AFCON. Nobody cares at all. Okay. Just put that away. Delete that tweet. Honestly, close your account. That's what you should do. But I see a lot of that, and that's part of the current climate that we're in right now, socially, which is kind of unfortunate. And one thing I also wanted to break off into and start discussing was, or I guess actually one point I did want to bring up, and I told you this before the podcast, that I was listening to another podcast, and these were just African guys, and they were talking about how the tournament is racist because there's not a lot of East African representation. But I was listening to this while I was folding laundry, so I was, fully focused. And I was just thinking, well, if it's a merit-based tournament and the East African teams just didn't qualify.
Yeah, you got to qualify for it, right?
Then how is it racist? But this is just an example of, it's like, oh, something that I don't like is happening, racism. Like, it's because they're black. And it's like, everyone's black, bro. Or Arab. What are you talking about? There's like probably 3 white guys in AFCON. I mean, probably not even, because South Africa didn't even make it. And I'm going to assume they have the most white dudes. So I just, it's like, ooh, let's calm down. Is there racism in football? Hell yes, there is. And you and I have talked about that extensively, that there's plenty of racism in the European leagues. But let's just chill, because people don't want, Liverpool fans don't want their 2 best players and a very important midfielder, Naby Keita, Keita to leave for 6 weeks, it's not because they're African. It's because they don't want to lose their best players. Okay, so I think everybody just needs to kind of chill out with that. Moving on to the group. Which group do you want? Let's just start with Group A. So I don't know. Do you have it pulled up in front of you right now?
For sure, I do.
Okay, so let me hear your Group A predictions.
It's got to be the hosts. It's got to be Cameroon.
Cameroon winning the group?
Yep.
Okay. Who's following them up? I mean, I completely agree.
Because I can't name a single person on Burkina Faso and Cape Verde. It's got to be Ethiopia to me.
I'm going to say Cape Verde.
Why?
Finish second.
Why?
The only reason I'm saying that is because I know one guy who plays for him, and he plays for Spartak Moscow, and that's really it. He's actually pretty freaking good. He's a striker. Ethiopia, I was reading a little bit about them. It seems like their entire roster plays in the Ethiopian domestic league, so I don't really expect much from there. And Burkina Faso, I think that's where Bertrand Traore, who plays for Aston Villa, I think that's where he plays, but I'm not really sure. I did see something that like Cameroon, I don't know if you've seen this, Cameroon hasn't lost at home in like over a decade. Have you seen that?
Really?
Yeah, you might need to, I mean, you need to fact check me on that, but I've been doing some research for this, and a couple people on YouTube were saying like, oh yeah, Cameroon are the favorites because they haven't lost in 30 years at home. And I was like, 30 years? I was like, what the hell? I'm like, how is nobody talking about this? That'd be incredible if that's true. Can you find out when their last home loss was?
Home?
I just typed in last home loss.
National team last home loss.
I can't even find this right now.
2022. I can't find anything for like a all-time record type.
Well, I'm going to assume that everybody else did their research and that is correct. And if that is correct, that is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
And you would have to put them as one of the favorites because it's on home soil. And apparently that's another really big deal. Like apparently the Northern African teams really don't do well like the further south the tournament goes. I mean, you'd be surprised how much of a factor this like little stuff is that we don't really think about, like weather or food or, you know, the climate is slightly hotter after 6 p.m. and so the players aren't used to it and they don't play well. I mean, it's freaking crazy. Moving on to Group B, I mean, I think we're in agreement Senegal has to stomp through this group.
Yes. I think the only other team with someone that I can name is Guinea, and they have that dude from Liverpool.
Yeah, Naby Keita.
Yep.
Yeah, Zimbabwe, I don't know a single guy. Malawi. Now, look, we're not experts on AFCON, and we're not going to pose like that, but, you know, I don't think you need to be an expert to say that Senegal's probably taking this. There is another really good midfielder for Guinea who I can't remember his name right now, but I do remember they have a pretty stacked midfield, and I've always felt like if you're going to have a really good defense, midfield, or attack, like having that good midfield is invaluable. Group C is a little more interesting. And before we give our predictions, did you see Aubameyang tested positive?
No.
He tested positive today. So he's going to miss the first 2 games against Comoros and Ghana.
Ooh, that's not good for them.
Is the guy, I mean, is he just a dumbass? Is he a moron?
He's been on a string of pretty bad things. I mean, he hasn't been starting for Arsenal. He's got the captain's band taken away from him. I don't know.
Then he goes out and parties.
A string of bad luck or something. I don't know. Or
yeah.
Maybe it's fully...
Is it bad luck? Apparently, this is what they were saying. He got it because he went to a party in Italy or something.
Oh.
Like 2 days ago.
I don't know. Then maybe it's karma. It's all intentional.
I'm just like, bro, this is literally Aubameyang's chance to kind of prove that he still has worth as a football player, at least at an elite level. And the man's going to miss the first 2 games. So he's going to come back for their game against Morocco, who I have as the underdog, or not underdog, but the dark horse of the tournament.
Damn, that's who I have, bro. What
Damn. Well, there goes that fierce debate about who the dark horse is going to be. But anyways, bro, Aubameyang, I mean, captain of Gabon, going to miss the first 2 games. You got to feel like they had a chance because I don't think this is the strongest Ghana team that we've ever seen. I mean, a lot of the guys that kind of started the 2014 World Cup, they're gone now. I mean, they have some talent. Thomas Partey in the midfield. They definitely have players, IU up top, but this is a weaker Ghanaian side, and I think that Gabon could have snatched something, but Aubameyang can't, I don't know, put the shots down, and now the chances are looking shot, no pun intended. But, so you had Morocco winning the group, or did you have Ghana?
I had Morocco winning Group C.
Okay, and then Ghana is the runner-up?
Yep.
You know what's crazy is 4 of the third place finishers actually advance. It wouldn't be shocking to say that Comoros now finishes 3rd, especially if they can beat Gabon, and this is their first ever AFCON. Can you imagine? Gabon loses because they don't have Aubameyang. They finish bottom of the table and they bounce out because this man went out partying. Not only do Arsenal fans want him out, people in England think he's a joke. His own countrymen are going to be looking at him like, you absolute bellend. Yeah. I mean, this is... If I'm Aubameyang, I'm like, guys, please beat Comoros. I mean, if we cannot lose to Comoros, at least have us in 3rd place going into that Morocco game so we have a chance. But I don't know. I think Morocco clap them. I saw that they allowed 1 goal in the previous 6 World Cup qualifying games. Like, they've been locking it down, and they got a really good squad, especially up top. They got the striker. They're a good team.
They're a good team. They have a bunch of dudes, playing. They have Hakimi, PSG. I mean, he's locking it down on the right side. They have a bunch of dudes at Sevilla, which, honestly, I didn't know that,
Bro, half Sevilla is Moroccan. Is crazy.
Yeah, like, I didn't know that.
And Nesri and those guys?
Yeah, like, me being ignorant, I thought that they were just... Shit, I kind of thought that they were, like, Middle Eastern, because Hakimi kind of looks Middle Eastern to me. But... Yeah. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. They're a pretty solid squad, and I don't think anyone's talking about them. I think everyone's going to talk about Senegal. Of course, everyone's going to talk about Egypt, but I think Morocco can go far. Yeah.
Like, man, Morocco, they are solid, bro. What's their keeper's name? It's like Bono, Bono,
I think.
Yeah, he also plays for Sevilla.
Yeah, Bono, like the U2 singer.
Yeah, like Yassine Bounou, I think is how you say it.
Is it Bounou? Oh.
Also known as Bono, yeah. Yeah,
he was born in Montreal.
Really? Damn, he played for Atletico Madrid? Huh. You know what's kind of crazy about a lot of these teams is that they don't really do well at the World Cup. In fact, they do quite poorly at the World Cup.
There's something with the World Cup and African teams, I feel like, where it's just like they're just not, and then maybe that's because African football is a different dynamic, a different type of play, different tactics and stuff like that, where they can compete against each other. But when it comes to playing other teams, they never seem to really get it. Or like other continents, they never really get the ball rolling, I feel like.
Do you think that's a mental block, or do you think, because it can't be talent? These teams are talented enough to advance to the round of 16 and get out of the group. But they just can't seem to crack the code.
I don't know. I'd be interested in seeing how African teams did overall when the World Cup was in South Africa versus like, or I guess any other African World Cup versus how they do, on average in other continents host it. Like, do they play better on their own continent? Like, is it like a familiarity thing?
Bruh.
I feel like to them, because
I'm
you
looking
kept
that
up the home stuff, so the home field advantage.
I'm looking that up as you say it. I think it was worse, dog. The only good thing about the 2010 World Cup was that Ghana advanced. That was the only thing. I mean, I'm looking at it. Okay, look. Group A, South Africa hosts, finished third. They actually got 4 points, so that's not bad. They beat France in the final game. That France had a terrible World Cup. Group B, Nigeria, dead last, 1 point. Group C, Algeria, dead last, 1 point. Group D, Ghana had 4 points and finished, because they had a better goal differential, they finished second in the group. Group E, Cameroon, dead last, 0 points. What do we got here? Group G, Ivory Coast, Golden Generation, third place, 4 points.
Maybe,
I mean, they just can't get it done, man.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I feel African football, and I don't know if we're going to get hate in the comments because I feel it's kind of changing.
Oh, it's too late for that. Far too late.
I feel African football has always been the stereotype of fast pace. You have beast guys on the wing, beast strikers, but then you got some fucking randos on the back line. And you have some rando in the sticks that, like, some random fan that you plugged out from outside the stadium, and you just gave him gloves, and you're like, okay, you're keeper now.
Yeah, but like, you're 6'5". Why don't you jump in here and?
No, I think
African goalkeeping is usually shambles.
Yeah,
I think even Africans can agree with that.
I feel in this one, there's some pretty good. I mean, there's Mendy, there's Bono for Morocco. I mean, I think they're starting to come up as and there's some good center backs. I mean, there's good fullbacks as well.
Is Bailly going to Ivory Coast?
I had all the players that,
because they got a good back line.
Yeah,
like when you're looking at back lines, he is okay.
Yep.
Okay. So,
yeah,
I mean,
I didn't remember if he said no or not, but I think he did say yes.
Okay, so you got and this is why I feel like you have to put Senegal and Morocco and teams like that. Basically, in AFCON, I see it like this, and this is full transparency, the first AFCON that I will be paying attention to extensively. Like, I did watch the 2015 AFCON quite a bit, but I only watched the Ghana games. I didn't watch anybody else. So I'm going to assume that the teams that actually have a solid defense are probably going to be the ones that perform well in the long run.
Yeah. Dude, I was looking up the last 2019 Cup of Nations. There's 102 goals scored in 52 games.
Okay.
That's 2 goals I mean, that's a lot, I feel like.
That is a lot. And Algeria did win the last edition of that and have to feel like they are the favorites again. Kind of got a bit sidetracked there, but we can go back to Group D, which has Nigeria, Egypt, Sudan, and Guinea. I don't know how to pronounce it. Bissau? I'm not sure.
Would you say this is the group of death?
No. I think Group C is the group of death.
Group C?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. Because I think Comoros is going to surprise some people. I think whenever you got a first-timer in the tournament, they're always going to be playing out of their minds, trying to prove something. I had a stronger case before Aubameyang got COVID. Piece of shit.
That's true.
Now I'm like, not really. I mean, it looks difficult, but it's not like impossible. I would say Group D. Dude, I don't know. Why was this a group of death?
Why was this mine?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Nigeria is pretty solid. I feel like they have a bunch of players in the Prem. I don't think any of their players from the Prem really start though, but they're still like good super subs and subs. I feel like, good squad players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said before, all eyes are on Mo this tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, there's. I have a bad feeling, and maybe I'm spoiling something, but Egypt's going to be my disappointment of AFCON.
Are you fucking serious?
Well, you said the same thing?
That was my disappointment.
Motherfucker. See, and this is why. It's because, and you probably have the same reason as me, one man in the starting 11 cannot lead you to glory.
No, not in this
Hell
sport.
no. Not even if it's Salah. There's no fucking way.
No. And this
even
is
though
not
he's playing
that
his
good of an
balls
Egypt
off
team
right now, there's no way.
No, I agree.
No fucking way.
I agree. I mean, this is essentially LeBron in 2017 is what Mo Salah is trying to do right now. I mean,
yep.
He's trying to bring the chip home to Cleveland, and I just don't see the talent around him. Now, I think they'll beat Nigeria. I think Nigeria is my runner-up for disappointment of the tournament. I think they are just stupidly overhyped when it comes to AFCON. I mean, they're not going to have Emmanuel Dennis from Watford, who's been absolutely balling out this year. They don't really have a very good back line. They do have, the guys like Ndidi in the middle, so they're solid. But I just think... Oh, and they're missing Victor Osimhen from Napoli, who's also been having... I mean, could say it's a breakout year for him. I just think missing those guys up top, and that's how Nigeria is going to win, because they're gonna score. They're not gonna keep a bunch of clean sheets. They're gonna score.
Yep.
And missing those two guys up top, Ahmed Musa. How freaking old is this guy at this point? He's got to be 30. He can't be younger than 30. He's 29.
Musa? He's 29.
He's a guy who scored against Argentina in the World Cup. I mean, I don't really watch him that much. You would hope that he's been able to keep his pace, because that's like the most dangerous thing about him. Looks like he plays in the Turkish Super League. I just think, and also there's so many like Nigerians on YouTube who, I mean, I don't blame them. They love their country. They're hype. They're want to win a tournament.
Base, I feel like.
Bro, swear to God. They got the freshest jerseys. Like, swear to God. That's what it is. It's just like an echo chamber on YouTube. Like, all the Nigerians are like, oh my God, we're gonna, oh my God, bro. I was listening to one podcast, and these guys were talking about like, favorites. Some guy asked like, who are your two favorites for the AFCON? He was like, well, has to be Algeria, because they won it last time and they haven't lost in like 20 games or something like that.
They do have
and he was
crazy,
yeah, they're a good squad. Mexico played them in a friendly, and it ended either 1-1 or 2-2, and they looked good. Mm-hmm. And the guy was like, and Nigeria, and the guy was like, the host was like, really, that's an interesting pick. Like, why Nigeria? And the guy literally could not come up with a single reason. He was just like, it's a good team, and it was like, are you saying that because you're Nigerian or because they actually have a good team? And they do have a good team. I just think acting like they're going to blitz their way to the final is not accurate at all. But I do hope the Super Eagles do well. I have a lot of Nigerian friends, so, I always try to support them as much as I can. Group E, any chance Ivory Coast finishes above Algeria?
Unless Zaha goes Super Saiyan each game, I'm not seeing it.
I'm so excited to watch him play, actually, for the Ivory Coast. I think these guys, them and Algeria, fireworks that game.
Yeah. No, yeah. That'll be, I feel, one of the games of the tournament.
Yeah. I agree.
Or at least the group stages. That's for I'm sure.
And I think Ivory Coast is one of the few teams that has a back line that can cope with Riyad Mahrez and Ben Rama and all those attacking guys for Algeria. Mm-hmm. Equatorial Guinea, hate to say it, boys, I think y'all are finishing fourth.
Couldn't name a single goddamn player on your roster.
Sierra Leone, I'm just going to plead the fifth. I don't know. I really don't know. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful to these countries. I'm
Shit,
sure
I
that if
respect
they
you for
played,
making it though.
yeah, I mean, shit, South Africa didn't make it.
You're good enough for making it. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, no shame in doing this. I'm sure y'all would do well if you played in the Gold Cup. I don't wonder how they would do in the Gold Cup. Group F, last group, we got Tunisia, Mali, Mauritania, and Gambia. Who you got finishing first?
I think I got Tunisia.
Okay. I think Mali is going to finish first.
Really?
Because they got a couple ballers on the team, but yet I agree. I mean, those are the top two for me.
Yeah.
Gambia, again, I don't know anybody. I didn't have like 6 hours to research every single team and find out who everybody's best players are. So, again, also hard for me to say that they're going to upset somebody because really I got no freaking clue. But, okay, those are the groups. If you guys are listening on YouTube, make sure you leave a comment down below. Your thoughts on our predictions for the group. If you're Gambian, I'm so sorry, not trying to disrespect you guys. Please educate us in the comments about, who y'all's best players are, who we should check out, and I will definitely take the time to do so. Now that we got the groups out of the way, who's your favorite? Who are you predicting to win AFCON?
I think it's going to be Senegal this year.
I agree.
Get out of my head.
I think it's going to be Senegal. Why do you think it's going to be Senegal?
I think the key to Senegal is that they have to rest Mane because fucking Klopp is overworking that man. I mean, his form has fallen off the past couple games. I don't know. It's because he just knows that he's that dude and that he's just going to start every game.
He really is that dude, though.
Well, yeah, like he is that dude, but because he doesn't have any competition, he hasn't scored in like 10 games or something like that, right? 11 games or something.
I don't know, but
or like maybe he scored 1 goal.
He's certainly not coming in as hot as Salah is.
Yeah, so I think if they're gonna win it, that they have to manage him, make sure he's healthy and that he's rested, especially when they start getting into the round of 16 and stuff like that. But I mean, if you look them up on Transfer Market or anything like that, I mean, they have the most star-studded lineup there is, and all those guys are all playing at their prime, at their best right now, and I think it's going to be hard to beat them. Yeah,
actually, I'm gonna change my pick. I actually think Morocco is going to win. And here's why I think Senegal might struggle. I think the expectations are going to kill them. Because weirdly enough, here's what I'm seeing online. Even though Algeria won the last edition, not that many people are saying Algeria is going to win. Like, I think a lot of people expect a rematch of Senegal and Algeria in the final. Mm-hmm. But most people are saying Senegal's taking it home this time. And they certainly have the talent to do so, but I feel like mentally we're going to see, how well they perform. Because at the World Cup, they've been disappointing. Very, very disappointing. Yeah. And part of that comes down to confidence and expectations. I think Morocco and honestly, Cameroon are probably looking around like, well, really? Nobody thinks we're going to win? Okay. That's fine with us. We're going to march in here and do our thing. Because I haven't seen anybody say Cameroon.
Less expectations, yeah. No, that definitely does something to the psyche, and they can focus and play whatever their formation is. I don't even know what kind of football these teams play, honestly. Like how do they line up?
Like, what formation do they use?
Yeah. Any of the teams. I couldn't name a single goddamn one.
All I know about Algeria, because I've seen them play, because they played against Mexico, was it's like some of the quickest build-up play I've ever seen. Like, Mexico would have a shot. 20 seconds later, Mahrez is like dribbling our center back and getting a shot off.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous. We really struggled to contain him and who's their left wing? Was it Feghouli? I don't know who was on the left.
The dude who plays for Aston Villa.
Plays for Aston Villa.
Oh,
They put Algerian in the team?
it's Oh no, I was thinking of Morocco. That's the dude that plays for Aston Villa, right? There's some North African guy that plays from Aston Villa. That's gonna annoy me. Who is that? Aston Villa, North African.
I don't know who you're talking. Dude, are you talking? You're talking about Ben Rama from West Ham, I think. Usually plays in the middle. Is that not who you're talking about?
Maybe.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe I'm tripping.
Aston Villa roster. West African dude. Bro, I have no idea who you're talking about. Oh, are you talking about Bertrand Traore? He plays for Burkina Faso, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe I'm smoking crack.
That has to be who you're talking about. They have Trezeguet, plays for Egypt.
Yes, Egypt. Oh my god.
Okay, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
we're running out of options here. I don't know how many more Africans.
Yeah. He's the left winger for Aston Villa, right?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how many more Arab guys play for play in the Prem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Egypt.
So what was your whole point about that guy? Why are we saying?
I fucking forgot after that big ol' rabbit hole.
Shit,
dive.
I forgot too.
I think we were talking about Algeria. Something about Algeria. Build up play.
Oh yeah, like really quick build. Oh, I was saying who was on the left.
Oh.
That's where this all started.
Yes.
I don't know who's gonna play on the left side. It's probably gonna be, maybe Feghouli or somebody else. But they got a solid team, man, and so it's gonna be really interesting. I'm not super excited for the group stage, but I feel that way about almost every single tournament except for like the World Cup. It's really when it's a one-off game that's when things get really exciting, and I just want good football. That's all I want to see. It's like entertaining football. Because I'm going to be honest, here's possibly a hot take. I think the Euros are the most boring of the continental tournaments.
Damn. Why is that?
I think it's very slow.
Too cautious?
Yes, very cautious. I mean, obviously, I watch a lot of CONCACAF. We do because United States, Mexico. That tournament suffers because of quality of teams, not because of the style of play. They're entertaining games. They're just messy and they look like street soccer half the time. Then you have South America, which I think is the pinnacle. AFCON, like I said, I've really only paid attention in 2015. So I'm looking forward to getting like a full dose of this tournament and really seeing how it stacks up against the other ones. And then Asian football, I mean, I hate to say it, I haven't really watched a ton of that too. It's also not the most exciting, but bro, sometimes in the Euros, I'm like falling asleep. It really does drag on. I don't know if it's the tactics. I don't know if it's because everybody plays each other every week and so they already know what they're going to do. I don't know why I don't know what the hell the reason is, but it's never been always exciting for me. So I'm very much looking forward to this. Just to kind of shoot the shit and put you on the spot. United States, how far do they get in this tournament?
In this tournament?
In this tournament.
I feel they get pretty far.
You think they get pretty far?
Yeah. I would think they would get...
I think we get smacked by Algeria.
Really?
I think we get smacked.
Why? You think they play a more solid foundation of football and that they have more of an identity?
Yeah, I think Algeria kind of plays like Mexico, but cleaner and a bit more organized and a lot less temperamental. And I don't know how the U.S. would stack up against that.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. I mean, the U.S. to me is straight raw talent.
Or straight athleticism to me.
And athleticism. I'll give you that.
Big, strong guys. Just pretty much what we got going for us. We're physical. But, I mean, who's banging a shot 30 yards out? Do we have a single player who can do that? Maybe Gio Reyna? Maybe.
Yeah, if he's healthy.
Yeah. I mean, he's young. That guy's going to be a stud one day. But my point is just like, I think we would get to the quarters and lose.
I was going to say the semis.
The semis? Okay. Let's pull up the groups again. I'm looking at them right now. I'm going to ask you group by group. Does the U.S. win Group A?
I think they get second behind Cameroon.
I agree. What about Group B?
Especially if the U.S. boys are playing in Africa. Ain't no fucking way I think they're winning any group, honestly. Now, if they played neutral, okay, maybe a little better. If they played at home, I think they would win a group.
Okay, what about Group C? You think they finish third? Or did they finish above Ghana?
I think Ghana would be their main competition. So they'd both be fighting for second and third.
Okay. What about E with Algeria and Ivory Coast? Think we can beat Ivory Coast?
That'd be a really cool game to see.
That'd be an amazing game.
I think our backline would get fucking sliced.
Yeah. I agree. I think Dest gets turned inside out. I think Yedlin pushes up too much. I think Anthony Robinson is just not good enough.
I just don't think those are our national team players. You know, they face good competition when they're at their clubs, but they don't face good competition when these guys are playing for their country. I mean, like we were talking about in the beginning. Some people turn up the fucking burners for their national team. You know, they play with a different level of intensity, and you know, I mean, our guys, you know, they won the Gold Cup and they're on a good streak right now. You know, and they had a great 2021. And I hope that they qualify for the World Cup, but it's going to be a wake-up call, I feel, for a lot of them, where like they're going to be fighting for their lives over in Qatar.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. This would be, God, it would be fantastic if the U.S. for some unknown reason was invited to a tournament like this, because this is exactly what the team needs. And Connor and I have talked about this extensively with the Copa America too. Like, I wish Mexico and the U.S. win every time. Not because they're going to win, but because they need that.
They need practice.
They need to not play. They need to play Brazil when it's Brazil's first team and Brazil is trying to win. Not when it's like the fourth string guys who only play in the Brazilian league. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everyone's like 18 years old playing our starters in Los Angeles, and we still draw. That's not what we need.
If CONCACAF has ever invited, not CONCACAF, if AFCON has ever invited
outside teams?
Yeah. Have they?
I don't know. Dude, I was reading some ridiculous stuff about AFCON and like some of the corruption that's going on.
I did see some of that. That's like some of the first Google searches that pop up.
Bro, the corruption, and again, this goes back to how we started the podcast with the whole like, oh, the coverage of AFCON is racist. It's like, well, if corruption is known and it's documented, does talking about that corruption make you racist? I would think that that'd be an idiotic thing to say. You know, like, for example, did you know that in 2015, Morocco was chosen to host the tournament? They didn't want to host it anymore because Ebola was breaking out again in Africa. So the Federation banned them for 2 consecutive AFCONs and fined them $10 million.
Huh?
Yes, so they took it to the Court of Sports Arbitration or whatever it's called, and they got the thing overturned. But this shit happens all the time. where a team will get chosen to
$10 million.
host it. They'll be like, no, we can't. We don't have any stadiums. And then the Confederation is like, how dare you? You're banned from hosting for 30 years. And I don't know. And pay us $5 million.
Holy shit.
And give me your daughter's hand in marriage. I mean, it's ridiculous, some of the stuff that's going on. I've been reading about the Cameroonian president. What a twat. I have to say, this guy, I mean, he's the president, but he's really the dictator. Absolute douchebag.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about the fact that Cameroon was allocated $1.8 billion on the tournament to spend on this AFCON to like build all the stadiums, roads. I don't even know if that includes hotels or whatnot, just making sure everybody can get around. Mm-hmm. And that only 300 million of that was actually spent on the tournament, and the rest was just pocketed by the president and his goons. I'm talking about $1.5 billion just gone. Mm-hmm. Just gone. Just going to some dude's private bank account, just going to his overseas assets. I mean, it's unbelievable. Jeez. Also, they apparently didn't want to have the tournament in Cameroon, and this is a serious problem because they're having a separatist movement right now, the Ambazonian independence movement, which is now a Cameroonian civil war that started in 2017, still going today. And apparently there are a couple venues that are really close to the border with this section of Cameroon that's trying to secede. Mm-hmm. And they are very worried that the military personnel and police are not going to be able to stop the violence from bleeding over. And I don't want to be that guy, but can you imagine a better way of bringing attention to your people's suffering than pulling some fuck shit at one of these games?
That would be pretty wild.
The whole continent is watching.
That would, I mean...
It's a possibility. I hate to say it. I'm not condoning anything like this, but...
I mean, I didn't know any of that. It definitely does sound like a possibility. I mean, you saying that reminds me of whenever they had the World Cup and the Olympics in Brazil, you know? I mean, no one likes to talk about... Well, shit, Americans like to talk about it, but I feel South Americans don't really talk about it. You know, can be a scary place. And they really had to crack down on, you know, hey, we're going to have a bunch of European, American spectators, tourists, you name it. We've got to crack down on petty theft, murders, you know, stuff like that. I mean, like, bodies were washing up on the shore in the Olympics during the sand volleyball tournament. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not a good sign. Not when the whole fucking world is watching, you know? And I think in this regard, I mean, you know, at least all of Africa is going to be watching Cameroon, you know, and they're going to be like, what the fuck are they doing over there?
I know. And how terrible would that be for the tournament? You mean, you want to talk about AFCON's getting negative coverage now? Can you imagine if some shit goes down at one of these games? Mm-hmm. I mean, bro, who knows what's going to happen when Cameroon takes the field? Apparently the split is between, like, the French speakers and the English speakers in Cameroon because of, like, colonialism and how they drew the lines and all that stuff. And, like, the people that are trying to secede are the English-speaking people generally. I mean, I'm not an expert in the Cameroonian civil war, so please educate me on that topic. I'll be sure to read into it after this episode. But these are things that we don't think about. And when it's talked about, it's almost like you almost get a slap on the wrist. It's like, don't say that. That's racist. It's like, but is it racist to say that Boko Haram is a legitimate threat in Cameroon? Mm-hmm. I mean, people flying in from all over the continent, even outside of the continent, to see these games, to say, like, hold on, there might be a security issue here. That's not racist. It's not disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the valid criticism of the coverage gets kind of, how do I say, like, loses legitimacy in my eyes. I think the most legitimate kind of point that people who say that the tournament's disrespected is towards the COVID point, because I will say it's very hypocritical that some people want AFCON to be canceled because of COVID, but nobody said a goddamn thing about the Euros getting canceled.
Hell no.
Because hell no, exactly. No French guy is going to be like, yeah, let's cancel the Euro. It's not safe. They're going to be like, oh, who do we play match day 1? That's what they're asking. They don't care about the virus. And so anybody who's like, oh, Cameroon's not safe, the Omicron variant, they just don't want their players to go play in Africa. That's what's going on here.
It's as simple as that.
I think that's a very valid criticism of the coverage that AFCON has gotten. In terms of COVID, yeah, sure, Omicron's a thing now and it wasn't over the summer, but if you weren't bitching and complaining that the Euro should be canceled, don't say a goddamn word about AFCON. It's none of your business. If they want to run the tournament, the players want to show up, they want to get vaccinated, boosted, whatever, and go play, then you should just shut your mouth and let them do it, okay? Otherwise, you're a hypocrite. And I feel like there's a lot of that hypocrisy online. Yep. That's kind of what I wrote down as like the biggest point for me there. Is there anything else you want to say? We've spoken for 48 minutes about AFCON.
No, I think this will be exciting. This will be my first time ever tuning in to AFCON. I just realized AFCON stands for Africa Cup of Nations. Right?
What'd you think it stood for?
Dude, I thought it was their fucking federation. What's their federation called?
CAF. CAF.
Oh, I'm a fucking retard.
Confederation of African Nations, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
African football, sorry.
That tells you how much I know about African football.
You're a bigot.
That tells you
That's
how much
the
I know
problem
about
here. Racism is live and well, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, guys, that's going to be the episode.
I know.
We're starting with racism and we're ending with racism, goddammit. If you guys enjoyed and you're watching on YouTube, make sure you leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. If you're listening to us on any of the streaming platforms, give us a thumbs up or a 5-star rating. Share the episode with people who you think would enjoy it, and let us know what you guys think about AFCON. Who are your favorites? Jake's going Senegal. I'm going Morocco. We're both going Egypt, and Mo Salah to flop. Probably, dare I say, not make it out of Group D. Not going to put money on that, but just saying it's a possibility. You guys let us know in the comments. We will be trying our best to release periodic coverage of this event. So, Jake, I'm sure we'll all get together and talk about it once the group stage is over and kind of go over our predictions for the knockouts. I would love if we could do a live stream of one of these games, like maybe the semifinals or the final.
Yeah.
That would be incredible. I'm pretty sure the final is going to be 1 p.m., so it should be very doable for us to do. Maybe we can head up to Austin or you can head down here for that game, something like that. That would be amazing. And the more people that vocalize that they want to see something like that, the more likely it is that we can convince Jake and Connor to participate. So that would be incredible. You guys definitely start harassing us on Twitter over at Yankee Football Pod.
Yep. Yankee Football
Lord
Pod.
have mercy. Follow the account. Although we did hit 10 followers. So
we did hit 10 followers. Thank you for all those randos that started following. Now we just need to hit 25. That was my goal.
Are we still at 10?
We're still at 10.
Okay. Well, we got like 4 in like 2 days. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Just need to keep getting followers.
Just need to keep threatening people, and eventually we will hit 100.
I have been getting on the Twitter thing, and I won't keep it long. I said something. There's some fucking stupid tweet from goal.com or something that was like, should Real sign Haaland and Mbappe? Or something like that.
Good Lord.
And
okay.
I replied, I was all like, if they do this, and as a joke, I was like, if they do this, this will collapse Spain's economy.
I saw that tweet.
And I said that as a joke. I got like 5 rando Spanish dudes being like, why did you say that? Like, what's your basis for this? Like that's not funny. And it's like, what? It's a joke.
Was this in English or Spanish?
It was in English.
Okay. Yep. I don't know what to say other than soft. That's all I have to say about that.
You got to get hate to get the followers.
That's what I'm saying. So if you want to see Jake engage in some political debates as well as football debates, socio-political, all that good stuff. Religion, we got it all over at Yankee Football Pod. Definitely head over there, hit the follow button. We are almost at 100 subscribers on YouTube, and it would really make 2022 an awesome year if you guys could get that to 100 before February. That would be unbelievable. Thank you guys again so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode.